Start with dramatic, epic music and powerful visuals of Roman ruins like the Colosseum, aqueducts, and the Roman Forum. Intercut with shots of historical reenactments of Roman legions marching in a generated imagery of ancient Rome in its prime. Imagine a single city, nestled on the banks of a river, destined to become the heart of an empire that would stretch across 3 continents. Imagine a civilization so dominant, its influence so lasting that to millennia after its collapse, we still walk on its roads, are governed by its laws, and speak its descendant languages. This is the story of the Roman Empire. From a mythical founding by twin brothers to becoming the master of the known world and its cataclysmic world-altering fall. Welcome to World Past Discussion. The tale of Rome begins not with a bang but with a whisper. According to legend, the city was founded in 753 BC by Romulus and Remus, twin brothers suckled by a she-wolf. From these humble and mythological origins on the Tiber River, a small city-state began a relentless, centuries-long ascent. Through a combination of strategic alliances, ruthless conquest, and sheer tenacity, the Roman Republic steadily expanded its control. First over the Italian peninsula, then clashing with the great naval power of Carthage in the Punic Wars, victory there gave Rome mastery of the Mediterranean, which they called Mare Nostrum, RC. Over centuries, the Republic, plagued by civil wars and political ambition, gave way to the empire under its first emperor, Augustus. Animated maps would show this incredible expansion, a crimson tide flowing over Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, until it reached its zenith under the Emperor Trajan in 117 AD. The journey from a small settlement to a global superpower was complete. A testament to ambition forged in iron and stone. But what was the secret to their unparalleled dominance? It wasn't just luck or a thirst for conquest. It was a meticulously crafted system built on 3 unshakable pillars. First and foremost was its military might. The Roman legion was the most sophisticated and effective fighting force of the ancient world. More than just a mob of soldiers, a legion was a marvel of discipline, training, and organization. The legionary, a professional soldier sworn to the Eagle Standard, was a master of combat, construction, and engineering. Their disciplined formations, like the formidable asterisk, testudo asterisk, or tortoise, made them nearly invincible on the battlefield. From the cold forests of Germania to the scorching deserts of Syria, the legions were the iron fists that expanded and secured the empire's vast frontiers. The second pillar was engineering that defied the imagination. The Romans were not just conquerors. They were master builders on a scale never before seen, engineered solutions to problems of urban living and imperial administration that were revolutionary. Their vast network of roads, famously straight and durable, stretched for over 400,000 kilometers, connecting the farthest-flung provinces to the heart of the empire. These arteries of stone enabled the rapid movement of troops, goods, and information, effectively shrinking the known world. Grand aqueducts, marvels of hydraulic engineering, snaked for miles across the landscape, carrying fresh water to bustling cities and allowing populations to swell. And of course, there were their monumental structures like the Colosseum, testament to their skill with concrete and arches, capable of seating over 50,000 spectators for brutal gladiatorial games. These weren't just buildings, they were bold statements of power and permanence. Finally, the third pillar, perhaps the most enduring, was their system of law and governance. As the empire grew, the Romans developed a sophisticated legal framework to manage its diverse peoples and complex society. The concept of Roman law, with its emphasis on principles like evidence, the rights of the accused, and the idea that law should be written in public, laid the groundwork for virtually every modern Western legal system. Concepts we take for granted, such as innocent until proven guilty, have their roots in Roman jurisprudence. This framework of predictable laws and a structured bureaucracy, caeso, administered by governors across the provinces, was the glue that held the sprawling multi-ethnic empire together, creating a sense of shared Roman identity even among conquered peoples. Together, these 3 pillars, military, engineering, and law, created a civilization that was not just powerful, but also stable and enduring. This potent combination of military security and administrative genius ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity, known as the Pax Romana or Roman peace. Lasting for approximately 200 years, from the reign of Augustus in 27 BC to the death of Marcus Aurelius in 180 AD, this was the golden age of the empire. The constant wars of expansion gave way to a period of relative stability within the empire's secured borders. Trade flourished along the safe sea lanes of the Mediterranean and the extensive road network. Goods from as far as China and India flowed into Rome, while Roman products were exported across the empire. Cities like Alexandria, Antioch, and Rome itself became vibrant, cosmopolitan centers of commerce and culture. It was a time of great architectural achievement, artistic expression, and intellectual thought. This long peace allowed for a blending of cultures, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and Gallic, creating a rich, syncretic civilization that defined the ancient world. But no golden age lasts forever. Beneath the shimmering surface of the Pax Romana, the cracks were beginning to show. The decline was not a single event, but a slow, grinding process fueled by deep-seated problems. A primary cause was crippling political instability. The 3rd century crisis saw the empire plunge into a chaotic cycle of civil wars, with dozens of short-reigning barracks emperors rising and falling, often murdered by the very soldiers who had put them in power. The Praetorian Guard, the emperor's elite bodyguards, became corrupt kingmakers, assassinating emperors and selling the throne to the highest bidder. This constant turmoil shattered the stability that had defined the Pax Romana. Compounding the political chaos were severe economic troubles. The empire's vast bureaucracy and enormous military were incredibly expensive to maintain. To fund them, emperors resorted to heavy, often crippling, taxation on the populace, which stifled agriculture and commerce. They also debased the currency, mixing precious metals with base ones, leading to runaway inflation that wiped out savings and destroyed economic confidence. Furthermore, the Roman economy was heavily dependent on slave labor from conquests. As the empire stopped expanding, the supply of new slaves dwindled, leading to a labor crisis that the economy was ill-equipped to handle. The gap between the fabulously wealthy elite and the impoverished masses grew ever wider, fueling social unrest. At the same time, the empire was suffering from military overstretch. Its borders were simply too long and too vast to defend effectively. From the Rhine and Danube rivers in the north to the deserts of Africa and the Persian frontier in the east, the legions were spread thin. Defending against constant low-level raids and the threat of major invasions became a draining, never-ending struggle. This led to a desperate need for more soldiers, forcing the empire to recruit heavily from Germanic tribes and other non-Roman groups whose loyalty was often questionable. The very military that had built the empire was now a source of its instability. Finally, these internal weaknesses made the empire vulnerable to external pressures. Waves of Germanic tribes, such as the Goths and Vandals, driven by their own internal pressures and the westward movement of the Huns, began to press relentlessly against the Roman frontiers. These were no longer mere raids, but mass migrations and invasions by determined peoples seeking new homes and a share of Roman wealth. If you're enjoying this journey through the annals of history, you won't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the empires that shaped our world, the confluence of these crises, political decay, economic collapse, military strain, and relentless invasions proved fatal. The empire was split into two halves, Eastern and Western, in a desperate attempt to make it more manageable. But the Western Roman Empire continued its downward spiral. The city of Rome itself was sacked by the Visigoths in 410 AD, a psychological blow from which it never recovered. The final symbolic end came in 476 AD, when the last Western Roman emperor, a young boy ironically named Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. The Western Roman Empire was no more. Yet, the fall of Rome was not the end of its story. Its legacy was so profound that it outlived the empire itself. The languages of Italy, France, Spain, Portugal, and Romania, the Romance languages, are direct descendants of the Latin spoken by the Romans. The architectural principles of the arch, the vault, and the dome continued to define building for another 1,000 years. The Roman Catholic Church, which rose from within the empire, preserved Latin and Roman administrative structures through the Dark Ages, and the ideas of republican government, civic duty, and written law would be rediscovered during the Renaissance, fueling the creation of the modern Western world. So, the next time you use a word derived from Latin, see a domed Capitol building. Or debate the principles of justice, remember the Romans. Their legions may have crumbled, their aqueducts may have run dry, and their empire may have turned to dust, but their ideas conquered time itself. What empire should we discuss next? The vast Mongol horde, the mystical realm of the ancient Egyptians, or perhaps the seafaring British Empire? Let us know in the comments below.